As a gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Sorensen.
I would like to wish Mr. Babin a happy birthday. Thank him and Ranking Member Lofgren for convening this hearing and our witnesses today for their willingness to appear. At our subcommittee on space and aeronautics hearing space a few weeks ago, we heard about the FAA's R&D on drones. I'm excited that today we can all learn more about NASA's R&D work in this area, as well as critical issues for commercial industry. So I'd like to ask about the coordination between NASA and the FAA to make sure that we're focused on safety and reliability of the network. Dr. Koparnikar, you've been a leader at NASA on the development of the UAS traffic management or UTM system. What does it actually mean for NASA to have handed off the UTM to the FAA? What has the FAA done with this since then? And I guess a finer point is, how are we ensuring safety to those on the ground and also lower altitude general aviation?
Thank you, Congressman. This is a very insightful question about safety and tech transition process between NASA and FAA. So unmanned aircraft system, basically the focus is on enabling large-scale drone operations at low altitude, below 400 feet roughly, about 55 pound and below type of vehicles. We have been working with FAA right from the beginning. We developed initial concept of operations, and then we had engaging dialogue about how would that work. And FAA also has published the concept of operations, several actually editions, 2 editions on the UTM concept of operations. So that's the first indicator that there is a willingness to take the technology and the concept. So it starts with the concept. So we have a mechanism called Research Transition Team that basically solidifies the collaboration between NASA and FAA. Through their research transition team, we develop a joint management plan, and we have clear deliverables that go from NASA to FAA. FAA is involved every step of the way. So a couple of examples of what it means to be transitioning technology or ideas or concepts from NASA to FAA. First is the concept of operations that FAA accepted and put that as their own, which is really remarkable collaboration example. Second is the FAA's low altitude authorization and notification capability LANC, LAANC, which is really the first step towards UTM. So the concepts that we build in UTM is basically a collection of services to support the drone operations. So one of the services is this LANC, that is digital, basically airspace description that allows operators to get access to that airspace. So FAA has included that. They have already adopted the construct that we created called USS, which is Unmanned Aircraft System Service Suppliers. This is the service, using the service-oriented architecture and third-party basically offering these services. So FAA has already adopted that. So in their concepts and technology and the roadmap, USS and a third-party services providing these services as a critical piece. Fundamentally, in summary, UTM will provide strategic deconfliction. It will provide basically digital means of collaboration across a number of entities, including general aviation and any other users that want to have access to that information can be accessed. And then third-party services will offer services like flight planning, tracking, communication, weather data, and such. So all of those concepts and constructs have been adopted widely by FAA as well as industry, and I'm also glad to say that it's been adopted by ICAO, which is an international body for harmonization across the globe.
In my career as a broadcast meteorologist, I was the person that was out there chasing the tornado. We were the ones that were putting up a drone into the air because we knew that if we could show people at home the threat live on the air, that they could make a good decision. But things have since changed in the past few years, where now we have to have so many people on board to have the line of sight, to have the pilot, and it has become prohibitive for us, or for those people in broadcasting, to do their jobs effectively. How do we change that?
Do you want to answer? Okay, I'll go after
Yeah,
you.
I'm happy
Sure.
to take that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
Well,
you.
no, absolutely. News gathering, use cases, there's so many benefits here. And the reality is, like you said, in order to be able to take advantage of the many benefits of commercial drones, we need to be able to fly beyond visual line of sight. Imagine if a crewed aircraft wasn't allowed to leave the airport. That's essentially what's happening right now with the UAS. And it's simply not scalable, and it's not possible to have a business here in the United States under the current rules. So we've been working over the last several years. You mentioned I chaired, or I worked as a leader of a working group on the Beyond Visual Line of Sight Aviation Rulemaking Committee that we provided a report to the FAA last year. And we're looking for a broad rulemaking to actually broadly enable this activity so that you don't have to go through a lengthy, burdensome, case-by-case approval process anymore. That will really, truly help us scale here in the United States.
Thank you so much for that. I yield back.